Welcome to your magical moon message. This is the Peace Dealer. The moon is in Pisces on Saturn, and the sun is at the end of Scorpio with the God of War, continuing its initiating series. It's very interesting when we see the sun travel degree to degree with a planet. Once it enters Sag, it'll start to speed up past Mars. And I think it's a good point to mention that we are within range of that 270-degree square between the sun, Mars, and Saturn. So the moon conjuncting Saturn gives us a sneak peek of this very perceptual washing machine change in why and the meaning of what you're perceiving. Why referring to Pisces, meaning referring to Sagittarius. If we now study different squares that we had earlier this year, the initiating Gemini square 6 months ago, and then the opposition of Virgo to Saturn, those of course relative to the Sun Saturn Aquarius conjunction that we had at the end of Aquarius 2023 before March, where Saturn entered Pisces, is relative to the previous cycle that we started to prepare for the literal end of the world. World representation of Saturn and the end of Pisces being the end of the zodiac. Saturn Pisces is the end of the world cycle. Saturn Pisces with Neptune is the end of the literal world. Not necessarily just that. We have to take Pluto and Capricorn into relation as well. Hence the last time Saturn was in Pisces in 93 and 94 and 95, Pluto was still in Scorpio. Now Pluto is back in Capricorn, where the United States had, of course, initially signed the Declaration of Independence, 1776. We're back, and we're seeing a repeat of history as we now overcome old cycles that led us here. So relative to the initial square with Gemini, where we tested out these new beliefs relative to experimental thoughts so that we can play with them through Cancer season, and then we now were aware of the physical reality, the mechanics, the analysis of what we experimented with the opposition, the first opposition we've had in over 30 years. And of course, the next Virgo season opposition will be the opposition completing the Sun Pisces conjunction. This is a lot of jargon. I apologize. For those of you who don't understand what the fuck I'm saying, I apologize. Let me just get this out the way. All right. The Sun Pisces conjunction in 2024 is going to be the official first cycle of this. The last one we had was at the end of Aquarius. Okay. This was activating celestial advanced knowledge, the totality of it relative to the end of that population control campaign we do every 30 years. It started 2021, Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn control, population Aquarius, Saturn Aquarius, population control. And just look over the past 2 years, you know exactly how they tried to do that. Anyway, other than that, we had the full moon or the opposition, 180-degree opposition. And the coolest thing is you can say that we all know what we mean by that. You can say that's a conspiracy theory. The final square, right now that it's over Virgo and we produced receipts, you're going to see the meaning of it. This is why Sagittarius is the I told you so tour part 3 relative to 2023. And this is going to now synthesize the meaning of the receipts we presented in Libra season. And now in completing this square series, we're coming into a very amazing and yes, ascended awareness of the higher meaning of how we've engineered these new beliefs. Remember, Saturn in Pisces represents the building of your ark, like Noah did. The retrograde after March of 2023, over the next few months, where it started retrograding, maybe June, July, August. And then, of course, now it's direct motion, which was the period of you gaining the materials from God, all right, from your imagination, let's say. And I'm not going to say God is your imagination, but let's just, Neville Goddard will say, but your imagination, of course, gave you the tools, you put it together. Now that it's direct, you are riding this arc. The floodwaters are coming down, and Sagittarius is going to show you the change, right? We have Sag, which is ascended change, and then the final change at Pisces. The rainwaters will be flooding down from Scorpio during Sagittarius. You'll start to see things change, and then the flood waters will finish falling Pisces season. That's where it's fully flooded, and we're now moving to the new world. All right, as we go over the flood water, and the people who didn't believe in themselves, so they didn't build the ark, are like, blah, 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 blah. You're gonna see a lot of blah, 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 blah people over the next 4 months, and you can laugh at that, but it's not gonna be funny when you see a lot of people drowned. And this could be an analogy of just basically swimming in the waters of false narratives that, once again, now that the moon is on Pisces and the sun is within that degree square, like 3-4 degrees, 3-4 days away, you will see this totality of change. This is the completion of everything that you've engineered over the past 6-9 months. All right. So that's the very first part I really want to open up about this. This transit with the moon in Pisces is reinitiating, as we do every 28-30 days, the moon Saturn Pisces conjunction that has been at the beginning, first decade of this, so that we can seed greater divine understanding about how our beliefs are engineering us out of old, outdated, obsolete mechanics for behaving, thinking, so that, of course, we can use our imagination as a vehicle. All right, I say the H, I don't make it silent, so that we can actually, of course, through our imagination, use the body of our vehicles to do what we may call supernatural, which we'll really realize is actually originally natural abilities that we were lied to and nerfed. All right, cool. Now that we've gotten that out the way, the moon in Pisces is going to end Scorpio season with a full-on Leo signature final trine. We're going to have a 0-degree Sag sun with a 0-degree Aries moon. So lit, so wild. And so this is literally the calm before that storm. This is going to reflect on the completion of all the lessons you've learned up until this point and put you in a very magical position to fully express the divine creativity and nature of your apotheosis that you spent all of Scorpio season setting up. The full moon in Taurus harvested the extra dimensional, unconventional quality of natural energy needed to quite literally source and be the base of this transformation. We harvested it, completed it, moon in Leo, then we activated it, new moon in Scorpio, and now this moon in Pisces is fully expressing what we've activated at the final degrees of Scorpio. Okay, huge deal. This is going to also change the integrity of your beliefs, because now that you've activated this transformation, you're seeing a lot more consistency and synchronization relative to who you have evolved to and are transforming into. This enhances powers, this enhances abilities, but now that you've understood the initial integration through Moon in Aquarius of the advanced knowledge to help you understand this next level that Sagittarius will now show us over the next 30 days, the Moon in Pisces inspires your imagination by understanding what new cycle we're going to go. And let me explain that. The moon on Saturn and Neptune means that once the moon is in Gemini, again, we're going to sprout those seeds. Moon in Virgo, we're going to harvest it. Moon in Sag, we're going to see, boom, we're going to do it again. This series with Saturn is going to last until 2025. So picture a series of 28-day cycle conjunctions every zodiac season. So that's 12 times in 2024. And then, of course, the rest of 2023. And then by 2025, Saturn goes into Aries. And then we do this again, but with the cardinal signs. All right, instead of the mutable signs. Last year, we did this with the fixed signs when it was in Aquarius. So these represent standardization tests in Pisces. How well can you test your beliefs relative to this third dimensional reality? And of course, the true reality beyond the physical realm here that is not local and real, according to the scientists who won that Nobel Peace Prize. To give you a bit of a hint of what's to come by the time Pluto's in Aquarius and Neptune and of course Saturn is in Aries, New World Order. That implies that everything is going to end over the next 2 years. All right, by 2025, technology, robots, AI, they're ready to now bring in this new era. And this is where the way you change your belief in yourself will be very enhanced with the moon sextiling Jupiter and sextiling Uranus, enabling you to tap metaphysically into vibrations beyond your physical senses that still exist and that you can still harness in order to adjust your perception about what direction to move into when the moon goes into Aries. Because everything that you're going to change about your belief and what's possible, you're going to understand how to identify with the moon in Aries, and then the sun's going to be in Sag, and you'll be coming into a higher awareness of what the fuck that looks like. And that's going to be amazing. Shout out to Sagittarius. Shout out to Scorpio. You guys have held space to really help purge all this darkness. That's why all these exposures happen, as they do every year. And we're going to now come into the higher light of what all this means. So you hear people speculating, myself included. You hear people talking about their thoughts about this and that. Fuck everything we have to say. None of us know what it means. We're going to come into that the next season, and there are so much twists. Please do not make yourself feel like you know everything yet. I wouldn't even tell you that. All right. And even with everything I say, take it with a grain of salt, edit it, take out what you don't agree with, take what works for you. I am just your NPC and messenger. You summoned me here. You click this video. The words here are for you and you only, and anyone else watching this. Okay. That being said, I want you to have fun with this. Concepts that you may have never entertained before because you may not have been at the level where you felt you can perform certain miracles are going to flow effortlessly from you and even towards you. And it is your ability to now make use of this very unconventional and pure transformation to bestow and express its extra dimensional and divine effects. This is going to be a very loopy, potentially paranormal period. And if you don't get too caught up on expectations on what you think things are supposed to be, and instead be the expectation that creates your reality, you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to come up to uncovering major mysteries that will help you understand synchronicities you didn't have the wisdom to understand before, that this new Scorpio cycle is fully providing. We also want to take into account the light opposition with Uranus and Taurus, because as the moon will sextile the Taurus energy, it's going to provide that grounding to aid in this perceptual mastery. Be open to concepts you may not have ever thought would really exist outside of your imagination, as you are the vehicle through which they could be made real. As a magician, all right, as a creator that can provide the circumstances here in 3D to make it real through the fuel of your belief. All right, weak people cannot believe, and they will instead give in to stress, which is a form of belief. All right, in order to stress about things, you're believing things won't work out. Might as well just use that magic to believe things will work the way you want them to without stressing about how. That's not your business, okay? And with Venus that's still in Libra, you're going to come into so much more clarity about what direction to take with the right partnerships. Just let that South Node remind you, it doesn't matter how good those partnerships look. If you have to compromise your authenticity, then you're playing yourself. You're basically shortchanging yourself to get short-term benefits, and you're better off holding on to that ideal for what you deserve. Even if you have to pass up opportunities that look scrumptious, do not fucking play yourself, okay? Enjoy this transit. This is going to be very fun. This is going to lead more into unlocking more capabilities, because at this stage, now that you've activated this transformation, before we integrate that through Moon in Aries and Taurus, it's very, very important for you to get the experience of what and how it is you've transformed. And that's going to look like experiencing otherworldly and supernatural vibes and experiences that take you beyond everything you thought that was possible just a few short 28 days ago, as your subconscious intentions manifest obviously outside of your conscious awareness more than you will ever really know. And a transit like this will give you a lot to believe in. All right, be cognizant of what you're imagining, keep that mental diet straight, and enjoy. You're going to feel into that collective sense of negativity projected towards you, and you're going to see how your transformation makes those vibrations pretty much negligent and irrelevant unless you want to focus and pay attention to it. So just by you sitting in that confidence, you're coming into, you know, the success is the best revenge. You're coming into so much more than stooping down on the level to, of course, you know, talk back to people or give away your energy in ways that just, you know, lesser you. And you need to do that. So you stay blessed as always. I hope you enjoy this magic moon message. I hope you enjoy how magic today is going to be and tomorrow. And no matter how dark things get, because this is going to be the darkest chapter before the light, right? It gets dark before the light. That's Pisces, Scorpio before Aries, Sag. Just believe your way through any situation and challenge yourself and see what happens. And until next time, peace.